Caribbean American community. Don't miss a moment of the action. Stay tuned to Caribbean American News Media. Welcome to the Caribbean American News Media Show, your premier destination for in-depth coverage, engaging discussions, and entertaining segments showcasing the rich tapestry of Caribbean American culture. Join us as we explore a wide range of topics, from current events and community spotlights to arts, music, cuisine, and more. Our show features exclusive interviews with influencers, artists, community leaders, and everyday heroes who are making a difference in the Caribbean American community. Stay informed and inspired with our thought-provoking segments that highlight the diversity, resilience, and creativity within our community. Tune into the Caribbean American News Media Show for a captivating blend of news, entertainment, and storytelling that celebrates the Caribbean American experience. Get ready to discover new perspectives, celebrate successes, and connect with the heartbeat of the Caribbean American community. Don't miss a moment of the action. Stay tuned to Caribbean American News Media Show for an immersive viewing experience like no other. Hashtag Caribbean American News, hashtag show, hashtag cultural celebration.
It's time to turn the page. It's time to unite.
He's here, and we're ready for change.
I grew up right here in Castries North. Some of my earliest memories, my best memories, are in this church, where I learned the importance of community, of giving back, and for looking out for your neighbor. I've walked these streets. I'm rooted in this community, born and bred in Castries North. The lessons I've learned, the friendships I've built were right here. They've shaped me. I've had the honor of serving our country, first as a civil servant, then as a regional diplomat and an ambassador. And while I've been proud to serve, what is happening here at home really concerns me. Times, they're hard, while only a select few benefit. Our community, it's been divided, split by politicians more focused on power than on you. And we've all paid the price. It's time for something different. I'm committed to serve you. I will never betray you. I will not put my interest above yours.
One day we gon' make it. You don't have to fake it. I give you my best. I give you the chain off my neck. I give you my love and respect.
So, please, let's come together for a stronger, brighter future. Castries North, united. It's time to turn the page.
Greetings to all. Welcome to Caribbean American News Media Platform, the news you report. We want to thank you so much for your love and appreciation, all the messages and calls. Thank you so much. Again, greetings to all. Welcome to Caribbean American News Media, and we continue to provide you with fair and balanced coverage of what is happening in the world, what is happening in the region, in your country, friends. And so we encouraging you to share the live and to tag a friend. To those of you who are viewing via our Facebook page, we want to welcome you. I see my friend Lon is already there, and Martin and all the others. Dr. Fletcher, Brother Harrow, and all the brothers jumping onto the platform there, Facebook, and our YouTube channel is giving our Facebook channel a run for the buck. And so thank you to all our viewers over there, Clive in Grenada, and those of you viewing in Dominica, Guyana. We have our largest audience for some reason now. Guyana is on the top list here at Caribbean American News, and then we have the United States, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So thank you so much for being part of the experience. To those of you viewing us via GVD TV channel 115, we want to welcome you, my friend in Denry, Brother Soto. Greetings to you. I know you're not well, but we continue to hope for the best. We pray for your family, your support people. Blessings to you, and thank you for being part of this experience. Those of you in the hospital, those of you wheresoever you are, you might be at work somewhere in the Boudin of Grosile. Thank you so much. Maybe you're from Castries North, South, East, or West, Denry South, Denry North. Miku Poale, there is so up the morn, down the morn, across the morn, wherever you're from. Folks, we appreciate you. Please share the live and tag a friend as you join the platform. I have a special guest tonight. Most of you would have been sharing the poster, sharing the good news that we have with us, Mr. Stephen Fevrier, who is going to be on set with me tonight, and we look forward to your interactions, your calls, and your love and support for Mr. Fevrier, very experienced gentleman, and so we look forward to engaging you, the citizens. And by the way, this Mr. Steve here is not Stevenson King. He is Steve, the right Steve, my friends. And so, Castries North, you are out. You have selected a very good candidate, and I feel you. I understand. All right, Castries North in the house. Lawrence, greetings to you. Greetings and thanks for the support. And so, I'm going to introduce to you, my friends, our guest, our brother, Mr. Stephen Fevrier. He is right here he's not in studio with me. He is way somewhere in a bunker in St. Lucia. And I am in one also here in the United States. Mr. Stephen Fevrier, welcome. You were born and raised in Summerdale, Castries, and have spent your career serving your country on a global stage. You began your foreign service as an officer in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. Yes, you have a distinguished background experience that you're bringing into the United Workers' Party, and you have in diplomatic trade. He went to serve as an ambassador and a permanent observer of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean. That's the OECS, for those of you who don't know what that is, and to the United Nations in Geneva, representing the interests of the Eastern Caribbean, and one of the world's most important diplomatic arena. With over 20 years of experience in trade policy development, negotiations, Mr. Fevrier, that's my guess, has held numerous senior advisory roles in Geneva and the Pacific region, providing strategic counsel on global trade matters. All right. He also, recently served as senior advisor in the cabinet of the Director General of the World Trade Organization, that is WTO, and has made notable contributions to international trade and the blue economy. Mr. Stephen Fevrier holds a bachelor's degree with honors in political science from the University of Western Ontario, a law degree from the university up there in London. Mr. Fevrier, I can go on and on and on with your experience. You have a master in law, LLM, international commercial laws, and wow, you bring a lot of experience to your country, to St. Lucia and to Castries North. I wish I can move over to Castries North in this campaign season. I'm so excited, and wow. So now, folks, I present to you Mr. Fevrier, who is dedicated. He has a passion for what he does. He is committed to his country, to Castries North. And let me just say, Mr. Fevrier, not because he spent his time overseas you believe that he don't care, he don't love his country. He was not just lying down and drinking wine and eating sweets. He was working on behalf of the people of St. Lucia, on behalf of the region. And so we're going to hear a little more from Mr. Fevrier. He is the Castries North candidate. He got the blessings, folks, from the United Workers' Party. And I'm saying that night he was chosen, I believe these fellas had prayer and fasting all night, because this choice, it's just the right choice. Mr. Fevrier, welcome to the platform.
Thank you very much, Pastor Garfield. Let me also say it's been a real honor to be on this platform, and let me also, with your permission, thank those who have joined us via YouTube, via GPD TV, and the other platforms. Let me say a warm and hearty good night to your viewers, both in St. Lucia and equally in the diaspora. But also, let me say good evening to Castries North, what I believe to be the best constituency on the island. I want to thank my people from Castries North for their support, for the love and care they've demonstrated and continue to show to me. So thank you, Castries North, and I look forward to this conversation with you, Pastor Garfield.
Yes, and I too look forward to this discussion and also the engagement from the audience. And by the way, we got to be careful saying that Castries North is the best, because people get a bit jealous, They say Dennery South is the best, but we will stick with Castries North tonight. Castries North for tonight is the best. Now, as a favorite, there's a whole lot of stuff happening on the global stage. And of course, in St. Lucia, in the region on a whole. And I know that with your experience, you'd be able to guide and help your country, to be able to navigate the challenges that are before us. And I know that many of our leaders have missed a lot of opportunities. And now we got to do a lot of stuff that should have been done in the past to deal with the many challenges. Now, I know that you spend a lot of time in your community, of course, getting to understand the needs of the community, the lack thereof. What should be priority when, not if, when you are elected as the representative for Castries North. So as you go through the community, what surprised you more based on your walkthrough, you listening to the people of the Castries North?
Thank you so much for the question, Pastor Garfield. Look, it's been a journey. As I've said before, I grew up in a house of service dedicated to church, dedicated to people. So from a very young age, I had the opportunity to see with my parents some of the challenges faced by people, including those in the Castries North constituency. Many years later, I'm back in the constituency. Not that I've left, but I'm back in the constituency. And I'm continuing that service, which I started many years ago. What is striking to me is a number of people who seem to be abandoned by the state, who have needs. And Pastor Garfield, these needs are not extraordinary. They're ordinary needs that ordinary people want. A footpath, to have the drains cleaned, to have the river cleaned, to ensure that there are no holes in the bridge, like what we saw this past Saturday, close to Frankie's home, that there are resources available for medical care, that the price of bread, the price of groceries can be within reach of the average person. All of these things, people complain that there is not sufficient attention, care, or concern given to them. And some people literally feel that they've been abandoned. That is the feeling, that is the sentiment that they share with me day after day. They also share with me that currently they don't feel that they have anyone fighting on their behalf. No one to stop by, to ask questions about their well-being, to understand the challenges that they face. So these people, my people, have been abandoned, and it is truly hurtful. So I think there is a significant deficit of attention, and I plan on doing everything I can with all my power, with all my hope, with all the strength I have to address those needs. I can't promise that it'll be done overnight, but with their support, with your continued support, we will work for that better day, for those changes that people are demanding, not only demanding what is due to them as citizens. So we're going to fight, and we will work hard for that change.
Yes, let me ask you, what is the infrastructure like in that community? Housing, electrical poles, water. What is it like in that area?
Well, I don't think there's been any new housing projects in the Castries North in many, many years. In fact, the CDC complex, which existed in Castries North, was demolished with the promise that new homes will be established, will be created for residents. And yet, after waiting patiently, month after month, year after year, nothing has been done. So there are many young people who can't see an opportunity to own their own home, their own apartment. And more than that, civil servants, teachers, firefighters, paramedics, government workers, people who work in banks, all hoping for the opportunity to own their own home. And it seems to be out of reach. So there's been no investment in housing. And that is a big problem, because that is the fundamental, let's say, or the most sure avenue for people to create their own economic stability, create wealth, and have some financial stability moving forward. And that has been denied them. So there's a lack of care and attention to many important things, including housing. The infrastructure, by and large, has been neglected. There are quite a number of areas where footpaths are either non-existent or in desperate need of repair. Some of the rivers have not been cleaned, including behind by Massey. In other areas in the constituency, in Agad, places, the Sunbelt, I see in Citygate, I see the same neglect throughout the constituency. So there's been a lack of care and attention, a lack of strategic foresight with respect to housing, with respect to business development, with respect to providing opportunities for young people, with respect to ensuring that those older people who are in need of medical care, long-term care, that there is someone that they could call, that there's someone who cares, somebody who could reach out, they could reach out to in a time of need. But look, change is coming. We're going to work hard to earn your trust. We're going to work hard to ensure that those things which are important to you, you could express them to me. I want to meet you where you are. I want to hear your cry. I want to sit with you. And if we do this, we work hard together, those things which are important to you, over time we will get there.
So I am trying to understand the whole CDC, the housing situation in Castries North. Have you spoken to any of the former residents of that CDC, and when you're elected, what are you going to do for these residents who are displaced for so long? Will they pay it off? Do we know?
But what I have been hearing is that they've been waiting patiently. There's a billboard which was erected with the promise of new facilities, with the promise that those shortages or there'll be an expansion in the inventory of homes. That has never been done. So the residents now know, again, they were bluffed. It was untrue. There's been no evidence of any effort being made to make good on that commitment. But we have a plan, not only for Leclerc, but we have a plan to ensure that there's both single family homes and multi-family dwellings placed in the community, placed in the constituency, to ensure that those needs of young people, of working people, of civil servants who want to ensure that they have a place which they could call their own, a place which they could be proud of, that we will make those efforts to ensure that we could deliver on those expectations. And those are legitimate expectations.
Yeah, they
Garfield.
are. Yeah, they are. Yeah. So in Castries North, I know that at some point we're going to have some land shortages or something in those areas, because if the Labour Party continues on the path that they're on, I believe that we'll start having issues in finding lands to build housing for the citizens of Castries, the residents of Castries North. Is there enough space, enough land, so that we can have a housing scheme or something to help with the housing deficit in Castries North, because there is a housing deficit there?
Absolutely. Under the former administration, in the Shock area, there was the area master plan for housing development. In Union, there's quite a bit of space in Union. In Agard, close to Agard, there's quite a bit of space. So there are areas which we've been looking very closely at to ensure that when we do form the next government, that the work which started under the former Alan Chastney government will continue. And of course, the areas which have not been attended to, we will continue to look to see where we could expand housing stock and provide opportunities for home ownership. This is something very dear to my heart. And of course, we are still consulting, and I'm listening very carefully to the residents to hear how best we could resolve with them those challenges.
Right. And the people of Castries North, are they getting regular water supply in the community? Or there's a regular interruption?
Well, what I am seeing is, of course, is like every other community, you have sometimes irregular supply. But I have been to some places, most recently in Odlum City, and in other parts of the constituency where there are water deficits and certain people don't have access to regular supply. So I can't say whether it's more or less than other parts of the country, but certainly there are deficits which need to be addressed.
Yeah, and one of your constituents just wrote on the Facebook Live that Castries North is like a forest. Is that what you're seeing? It looked like it's really abandoned by the rep?
Well, look, I have seen abject neglect in some areas. Some of the rivers have not been attended to. Some of the verges have not been addressed. So there's quite a bit of evidence that the normal maintenance of the constituency, those needs have not been met. Now, let me be clear. I am almost certain that before the election, contracts will be given,
Yeah.
people will be paid to
Yeah.
do what should have been done over the last 4 years. But of course, through political opportunism, having been neglected for 4 years, I'm sure there'll be a rush now to meet those needs which should have been taken care of over the last 4 years. Of course, that would be welcome, but I think we should not be allowed to reward bad performance over the last 4 years for by the representative by any sudden attention being given to those things which should have been done for the last 4 years.
Thank you so much. And so, can we spend a little more time on, because what we're hearing now from the citizens of the country is, what is the United Workers' Party plan for my community? What is in this for me? What are you going to do differently for me? And we know that many of the people of Castries North were very much confused in the last elections. They had a relationship with Mr. King, a long time relationship, and it was very difficult for some of them to break that, and so many of them were confused. They was not sure what was really happening. They see Mr. King as a strong United Workers' Party supporter, and so what are you going to do differently if elected for the people of Castries North? What's your vision? What's your plan? I know you can't give us everything, because you know the Labour Party right now, they're finding monies to do everything that they could not have done in 4 years, because we're heading into an election year. So what would you do differently from the present representative, Mr. King?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to abandon my people. First of all, I'm not going to betray their trust. I'm also going to ensure that the representation that I give will be consistent, and I will not be a representative who comes around only when it's convenient for me. But on a more substantive basis, I think there are a number of issues which have to be addressed. Healthcare, number of people who are at advanced age who need care and support, which has been lacking. Housing is another area which has been woefully neglected. Youth empowerment is something which is important, and not only from the sports standpoint, but also giving young people opportunities to have their own business through incubator, accelerator programs, support for small businesses. Again, I think I'm really proud that Castries North is one of the hubs for sports on the island.
It is?
VBCC has been absolutely. VBCC has been one of the premier cultural and sporting entities, and of course, they would be supported by me. That is a commitment I've already made. So we could improve sports. We could improve all sports, not only football, but basketball, which is, again, the court in Leclerc has not been addressed. The football field in Agard still has not been completed. Many of the areas which young people in particular depend on have not been addressed. So sports, youth empowerment, health, housing, and just ensure the better maintenance of the constituency. Of course, they have a master plan
Yeah.
for the area, which I'm not going to go into detail now.
No.
But there'll be opportunities for tourism-related services, the development of tourism, particularly along the beaches in Castries North. There'll be opportunity to create business parks, to support logistic services, to ensure that those things which Castries North can contribute to the broader economic pie would be explored and delivered on. And what would that do? Create more jobs, create more economic, let's say, vitality in the area, give people things that they would like to do closer to home. So yes, I think we will continue to explore our master plan, which would
be the basis on which we expand, work with the business sector to expand economic opportunities, to create jobs in strategic sectors so that we could continue to I should say continue, that we could start doing for the constituency what has not been done in the last 30 years.
And some people, thank you, Mr. Fevrier, and some people have been complaining in Castries North, especially, I believe, around the Maranatha Adventist Church area. Those areas are very dangerous areas when it comes to traffic, vehicular traffic, and human traffic. There seems to be no sidewalks or no provisions there for pedestrians. So, is there anything that you see that in the future that can be done to take away that hazard?
Yes, I mean, there are many parts of the area have been neglected as it relates to just basic infrastructure, road signs, road markings, speed bumps. I mean, there are so many areas. I was in one part of the constituency on Sunday, and there's a school, and there are no signs to indicate what the acceptable or legal speed limit should be. There are no speed bumps to reduce or the rate of movement on that thoroughfare. So there's so much to be done. Now, I want to be very clear. This will not happen overnight when we assume the government. But then we will have a plan to address incrementally those things which have been neglected. We need to do better. Castries North deserves better. The people of Castries North deserve better. What I think is also not only striking, but demonstrate, in my view, what I see as willful neglect is the current representative also happens to hold a portfolio within the cabinet for infrastructure. How can it be that a minister with responsibility for infrastructure has not attended to those things which fall directly within his mandate? Retaining walls, sidewalks, footpaths, basic road furniture, basic infrastructure. So we plan on ensuring that those things which I have heard and I've been listening very attentively to the constituents.
Yeah.
And I've taken very careful note. And me and my team, over time, will put forward a plan, which I'm excited to share with you at the right time, which would address those needs, those areas of neglect over time. So again, I want to say to those people who are listening from Castries North, those people who have been neglected, those people who don't see any sign or evidence of representation, that change is coming. That change is coming.
So let me just have a light moment with you. How excited are you, about Castries North?
Look, as I said, I make no bones about it. I think it's the best constituency. I remember growing up when myself and my friends from Summersdale and BC would go to the beach, the Shock Beach, close to the Castries Comprehensive School. And there was a beautiful reef there. And we would swim. Some of us would try the odd time to get across to Rat Island. Run across the beach, and I mean, it was a beautiful, and still is the most beautiful area, I think, looking at the peninsula on one side and looking up to Martinique. So I think there's so much beauty in the constituency. There's so much which could be done. And this is just such an amazing opportunity to work with the future Prime Minister, Alan Chastney, who really, in his heart, has a longing, a desire, a passion to see this country progress, to ensure that we unlock the opportunity for the people of the constituency so that they could find the employment that they desire, they could have the homes which meet their expectation, that they could have the health care which should be a right of citizenship, that they could ensure that their basic needs for maintenance for the constituency, cleaning the gutter,
Yeah.
ensuring that the rivers are clean, is that too much to ask? So I'm so excited. I know that it's going to be a lot of hard work.
Yep.
And since I've committed myself to this cause, I have been working flat out, and I will continue to work flat out. But I'm so encouraged, Pastor Garfield. I'm really encouraged by the prayers, and I ask everyone who are on this platform, please continue to pray for me. I'm getting the prayers, I'm getting the love, I'm getting the support, I'm getting the encouragement, and I'll continue to fight. I'll continue to fight for you.
Yes, and I can feel your passion. So it sounds like you're a swimmer, like you can swim, and that's a good thing. Someone said people from Castries can swim because there's not a lot going on there, but it is what it is. But so, and I believe I'm feeling your plans, your based on what you have articulated here tonight, and I know with the visionary leader, Mr. Alan Chasney, and a new infrastructure minister, I believe that Castries North is in for great things. They just got to make the right decision. Let me ask you, Castries North, you have a number of hotels in Castries North, right? You have what, the Rendezvous, no?
Well, it used to be Rendezvous. It's under a new name, I think. Time Out or Time
something that.
Time,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Time something. Yes.
That's it, and the cemetery too.
Correct. I don't know if you remember, Pastor Garfield. There was the beach facilities were there, and people from all over the constituency could go to beach facilities. And there were some areas where you could, have something to eat. And I mean, all of these areas have fallen to neglect, disrepair, decay. There's nothing new. So one of the ideas or programs which we hope to institute is to ensure that there are more public spaces along the beach, whether it be a boardwalk, like you see in some of the neighboring islands, or you have spaces for people to have picnics or congregate. There are also some larger plans which I've already started to design, which I'll share with you at a later date, where there can be more economic activity, and let the young people in particular from Castries North benefit from the gains of our tourism sector through plying their trade, plying their skills along the beach. So there's so much which could be done. There's so much could be done, and I'm hoping that once we get in, we could move with dispatch, we could move swiftly to ensure that those benefits which have long been denied the people of Castries North, they will have access to it.
That's good. And I know the VG Beach, that's a nice, back in the days, I'm not sure for now, that was a beautiful hangout spot. And, if we can do some work there and develop that thing, it's just outside of the airport. I don't know why we can't, organize that in a way that it can attract, people would not just get off the plane and run away. They would want to hang out, for a minute, especially if they're waiting for a delayed flight. They can just go out and find some relaxation outside of the airport. I strongly believe that place is underdeveloped. The Shock Cemetery, I know recently there were some issues there with the sea, the water coming up and damaging the cemetery. What do you think of that place? Is it time for a new spot, for us to look for a new spot for a cemetery in Castries?
I think that's a very sensitive issue. Many people, many of us, including myself, our loved ones, that is their final resting place.
Resting place, yeah.
So if there's any plan to make changes, I think we'd have to go through quite a bit of consultation and reflection on what would be best So this is something, of course, many people like yourself have made indicated that maybe it has reached its
Yeah.
useful, it's come to it's at capacity,
Yeah.
and its usefulness has been fully exploited. But of course, that is something which would have to be studied closely, reflected on in a very sensitive way, and in consultation with all stakeholders, a determination could be made on how to address that matter going forward. But it's not something that I would want to, at this time, pronounce myself on.
That's right. Thank you. And but the cemetery is secure now. I know recently there was some erosion there, and some of the tombs were compromised. And as you said, you know, people, their loved ones are buried there, so it's a very sensitive thing that we're touching on. But I know that we would expect proper retaining walls to deal with to protect the resting place of our loved ones. I have families that are buried there also.
Correct. No, certainly. Look, as I said to you, I think we have to have a bold vision. We need to ensure that those things which we have, that they're maintained.
Maintain.
Those things which have we've fulfilled their usefulness. See how they could be renewed, or if they could be moved to places where more capacity could be established. But of course, we would have to, where it concerns people's loved ones, the final resting place, I think it's something that we have to be extremely sensitive to,
Yeah.
be thoughtful about, and do it in a way which really honors the legacy of those who have gone before, take due account of religious sensitivities,
Yes.
and of course the connection that many of us have to those final resting places of our loved ones. So it's something which has to be looked at, discussed, and certainly UWP government would do so in consultation. But again, there's no plan afoot. There's no discussion that I know of ongoing. But if the time has come in the future, maybe in the next few years, 20 years, it would be something which would have to be done in a more sensitive way, in
More sensitive way.
consultation with those people who are stakeholders.
Yes, and I honestly believe, listening to you, that you believe in total individual involvement in whatever happens in their community. What we see sometimes under this Labour Party, these guys are just doing things and they're not consulting the people enough. It's like there's a rush to a finish line, which is the campaign season, and there is no meaningful collaboration with the people in the community, and there's a lot of errors, a lot of mistakes that are happening right now. But that's for another discussion. I want, based on your experience, I want us to look also at St. Lucia on a whole, and then the region, and we can look at what is happening in the world. Now, before I go there, I want to ask you this question. You don't have to answer it. What's your relationship with Stephen King? Do you guys speak? Do you see him?
Well, of course, I know the gentleman, and of course he has been a long-standing parliamentary representative. I knew him when he was still with the ULBP. I knew him before he was embraced by the Labour Party. I see that I'm not sure if the person I knew before is still the person who exists now. But I knew who he was before. I'm not sure who he is now.
Yeah.
And I mean that with all sincerity. And I think that's something which is a bit of a challenge for those people who grew up seeing him and grew up knowing that he came from the bosom of the United Workers' Party. So I'm not very clear on who he is now or what he stands for. Again, it's not for me to make a judgment on him. And I'm not saying so in a pejorative way or casting aspersions. I'm simply saying that who he was and who he is now seems to be rather different.
Yeah, and what I can tell you, based on what I have been seeing, is that the people of Castries North are tired, and they understand who he is now, who he's with, his allegiance to the St. Lucia Labour Party and himself, because clearly, if you look at the community, like you said, he's not there. He's not doing what he needs to be doing, even going into an election year. He's still not doing a lot, and so I'm sure the people have already made up their minds that, you know, they're going to correct that wrong. And so I believe you are a breath of fresh air. A lot of these people are breathing easy now. And, you know, I'm looking at the comments. I'm looking at what the people are saying. And I believe that you are well loved and supported by the people. And I look forward to being with you in Castries North on the ground. Once I get the opportunity, my commitment is to be there with you on the ground.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, Pastor Garfield. I'm looking forward to having you on the ground. You know, I'm getting messages and calls daily from residents who want to lend their support to my efforts, to the efforts of the United Workers' Party. Let me just sort of double back on the previous conversation. I want to be very clear. I'm making a distinction between who I am
Yep.
and what I intend to do and what currently obtains. I'm not making a value judgment or putting anyone down.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that we need to fight for Castries North. We need to fight for those things which are important to the people of Castries North. Who the current representative is, what he's done, is immaterial to me.
Yep.
That is for him, and that is for his conscience. We're looking forward, and I'm asking those residents of Castries North to join me to paint a new plan, to look to a brighter future, to ensure that we can work together to make true your dreams, to make true those things which are important to you. So I'm not being, let's say, flippant when I say that, you know, I'm not very interested in the personalities. What I'm
Yep.
careful, what I care deeply about is that we work together, and I invite, you know, Labour Party supporters who know you have no one to represent you in Castries North. I invite those people who supported the blue wave, which was, I think someone said to me, it was never blue, it was always red. But again, I don't know. To join me because you know that you want a better future for yourself and your kids and your loved ones. Join us. I don't care who you supported before. You could have supported blue, red, pink, yellow, any color. Join us if you want a better Castries North, if you want a brighter future, if you want those things which I've spoken of, address. If you want more youth empowerment, you want better sporting facilities, better housing, better care and attention to your needs and the constituency, better and more sustained access to high quality health care, better engagement with that person who you will elect, and most of all, if you want to have someone whose word and actions you can trust, you can rely on, I ask you to join me, work with me and my team to bring that change to Castries North. And those of you, if I may be permitted, I want to give a little
Of
bit of a
course.
plug. I want every single one on the live now to go to Facebook right now, type in STEPHEN FEVRIER. My name is right there. And add me to your Facebook, both my personal, which is open, and my official. So please, everyone, join me on Facebook, join me on Instagram, follow me on X, so we can start and continue this two-way conversation. I'm getting your questions. I'm getting, your concerns through those platforms, and I really want to ensure that I have a direct relationship with you as we go forward. And if you need to say something to me which is uncomfortable, I'm okay with that. If I'm to be your representative, you need to tell me what you want. You need to tell me how I could improve. What are those things which you would like to see or from me, both as your representative, but also as we take this journey forward together as a partner.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. And so I am saying to the people of Castries North that this is the right candidate, all right? Choose Mr. Fevrier, all right? That's code yellow, and it's loading with rapido speed. Join the movement. Remember, go to Facebook and also the different social media platforms and follow. It doesn't matter whether you're from Viewfort, whether you're from England, wherever you're from, just go and follow the movement, support the movement, friends. This is a code yellow movement that is necessary for the development of Castries North, the development of St. Lucia on a whole. There's no bluff and no fluff in Mr. Fevrier, all right? And I like his method, his campaigning strategy. You know, he's not going after individuals, cursing them and besmirching them. He's staying on the issues that are affecting you, the people of the community. Just like the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is distracted with Alan Chastney. Mr. Fevrier is not distracted with Mr. King. Mr. King will do his thing, but Mr. Fevrier will do his thing, all right? And I really appreciate that. So, at the last Sunday Live, you know, you made a statement about bolums. You want to explain a little about that thing? Because if there's any bolum up there, you can call me. I'm the bolum slayer. You know, I have my oil and everything. What was that all about?
You know, Pastor Garfield, it's astounding how quickly the SLP machinery responds to, the satire.
Light
in
moments,
politics,
yeah.
you know, light moments in politics. You
Yeah.
know, I just so wish that they would respond to those requests to have the gutters clean, to have the footpaths
You heard
resurfaced,
nothing.
to have the medical attention and care that people seek. I just only wish if they could respond to the actual needs of people as quickly. I think St. Lucia would be a utopia. But look, it was, of course, satire, and
Yeah.
the discussion which we were having was there are impressions that there are these mythical or mysterious creatures, and I'm using that, to to point to challenges which may exist within, the UWP, or challenges which may exist, which and there aren't any, but
Yeah.
challenges which really, but these are mythical things, things which are not real. And I'm saying rather than us as a society focus on these things which don't really exist and don't really, let's focus on the challenges that people actually face. And what are those challenges? Price of bread, price of groceries, price of gas. What's taking place with the erosion of the standards of governance in this country, as reflected in what took place in terms of the BMAX contracts, with GPH, with the project in canals, with the myriad of challenges which the country faces. That let's focus on the real issues, not with things which are esoteric, things which are not real. Let's focus on the issues which people are concerned with. Let's focus on the issues which people want addressed. And I'm saying that to not only to my party, but to all St. Lucians. Let us focus on crime. Let us focus on good governance. Let us focus on housing. Let us focus on the price of living in this country together, not on things which are unreal.
Yeah.
So it was a metaphor. Of course, some people conveniently miss the satirical value of that
Yeah.
metaphor. So I'm hoping that I clarified. But no, I was not proposing or suggesting that those things are real or that I'm involved in them. In fact, the full text of my intervention was very clear that this is not something which I believe in or I promote or the values I share. It's really, we need to focus on the issues that I hear from my constituents on a daily basis. The neglect, the concerns about their own futures, the pain that they feel when they can't get the medication and medical attention that they need, and the wanton disregard for those things which are important to them. These are these I call bolons. These are the things which I think we need to focus our minds on.
And they are bolums because, I mean, with not proper signage on our roads and the cost of living in the country, the neglect of sporting facilities, and the housing crisis, all these are bolums. So a lot of people, it keeps people up at night, give them a lot of sleepless nights. So I do understand, you know, where you're coming from. So, and as you said, they're very slow to respond to the things that really matters. You know, they like to talk about the bolum and all these kind of things. But what we want them to do is to deal with the many questions, like you said, that the St. Lucian people are asking. So the government has this slogan, the SLP government, putting people first. Based on your experience, what you're seeing on the ground, do you believe that this government is putting the people first?
Yes, they are. They're putting the people who are in the hierarchy of the party first. They're putting the people who are the friends of those in the hierarchy of the party first. They're putting some government ministers' interests above the good governance of this country. So yes, they're putting some people first, but the vast majority of hardworking people in this country, those people who get up every day and go to work, those young people who are striving to become athletes, who now cannot or may not be able to compete in regional and international events because of the let's say, allocation of resources. Those people are the ones who are suffering. Are they putting those people who need care and attention, medical attention first? So look, I fundamentally believe that we have fallen short. We have gone wayward of those values that we know to be true. And Pastor Garfield, let me say this to you. When you see the enrichment of certain government officials over a short period of time, and the same government is telling the young people on the block, don't do this. If you do this, we're going to arrest you. They build a nice sort of jail downtown Castries for those young people. They built a jail. No job opportunities, but they created a jail. On what moral authority do you stand when billions of dollars of these young people have evaporated? Well, they haven't evaporated. They've gone into the pockets of people, some locally. What moral authority do you have to tell people, don't throw rubbish out of your car? Pay your bills. Pay your parking tickets. On what moral authority? When people who are entrusted with the governance of this country, entrusted with doing what is right for the citizens, flout, disregard, and act without care for every principle of good governance when it comes to transparency and being accountable for those positions and those actions which should be taken on behalf of the people of St. Lucia. And I want to say that I know that under the Alan Chastney-led government, what we see passing for governance in this country would not be tolerated. In fact, Alan Chastney had the gonads, he had the testicular fortitude, he had the strength in his term to ask two ministers, or at least ask two persons who were members of the United Workers' Party, to relieve them of their positions. That is something which has not been done in the current administration. In fact, you had government ministers on public airwaves berating, verbally assaulting, threatening citizens of this country. We see government ministers who seem to have found a tree of money to build houses with swimming pools all in the trees,
Oh.
and no questions being asked about that. No questions being asked about that. No accountability. Where is the public prosecutor? Where is the the Integrity Commission? It can't be one set of rules for the average St. Lucian who has to pay their taxes to work out every day, and a completely different set of rules for this administration. How could that be right? And guess what? When I see the gap between what people want, legitimately want, and what the government is delivering from them, I wonder, you know what? The CIP money which has vanished, what those resources could have done to fix the drains, to fix the roads, to ensure that the hospital is well resourced, to ensure that the needs of those elderly people who want a little bit of support, who want a little bit of help, those needs could be met. What could have that $1.4 billion have done for those needs? But nothing. No discussion, no accounting, no transparency, nothing. Pastor
Wow.
Garfield, that cannot be right. And I know now more than ever before that St. Lucians are smart. I've always known that, but I have so much conviction now that they will, and they are seeing through this charade, and they will do the right thing for themselves, for their children, and for the future of this country by voting this government out at the next election and restoring good governance to this country that we so love.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Fevrier. Question. GPH, what are your thoughts on GPH? Do you believe it's a good deal for St. Lucia?
Well, look, if you are making $6 on a income and you give that $6 of income to a third party to receive in exchange $1, and that person is making $10, I'm not sure how that could be considered a good deal. So St. Lucians, as I understand it, will be foregoing $400 million in revenue over the life of the contract. And a private entity, again, which is not with no substantial connection with the country, i.e. the ownership is external, will be generating huge and outsized revenue. It is the same SLP government which spoke about friends, family, and foreigners.
Yeah.
It's the same ones who castigated Alan Chasney only a few years ago for certain investments which were being deployed in the country. Called it supporting, again, racializing those investments. Now, you're giving $400 million of revenue which should come to the country to address those needs which I speak of: housing, crime prevention, education, to a non-national entity. But more than that, you are actually leasing some of the most strategic assets of the country to a third party when SLASPA was already doing a fantastic job. SLASPA was a strong and proud institution. It has been completely disemboweled by this government. For what? Again, this transaction, it does not meet the smell test of something which was done in the interest of the people of St. Lucia. Does not meet the smell test of something which was done to enhance the quality of life for St. Lucians. And there are, let's say, more than reasonable concerns that it was done to benefit, unduly benefit certain individuals. So, look, we need to be very, very clear. Whatever a government undertakes at the behest of the people should be done to their benefit, not to the benefit of private citizens who have a close connection with those people with that responsibility. So I'm very concerned, and I'm also deeply concerned about the displacement of the people at Banan's land and how it's being done. There's a margin model, which I spoke of in a previous interview, which was established,
Yeah.
that her condition was made no worse than it was. I think the same should be done for those people at Banans and those people who are under threat of displacement. So look, these are very deeply troubling and concerning developments, which I believe should be addressed with great sensitivity and in the best interest of St. Lucians.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Fevrier. And you did touch on the whole displacement of the Bannon's land Bay residents. Let's look at CIP. What are your thoughts on CIP, especially in St. Lucia?
Well, look, I'm not sure how long we'll have a CIP program for. You would have heard my my press briefing on Tuesday where we spoke about the latest information reported by credible and reputable news outlets in the United States indicating that St. Lucia could soon lose its access, could be banned from the US. And of course, with that, there are a catalog of negative consequences which would follow such a decision. We also know that on the 17th of July, a few days ago, the European Union also started the process of reflecting on the Schengen visa waiver, which we currently enjoy. These are very troubling developments, and it really speaks to the lack of trust and confidence that our closest allies have in us. And this is a new development. We can say whatever we want about friends, family, and foreigners. We can say whatever we want about the former dispensation, the European, but we never had such strong concerns being expressed about the United Workers' Party government under Alan Chastney. This is a new development.
It is.
I encourage everyone to Google, at least in the case of the United States, those countries which are also part of the cohort of countries which may be banned, and you would be shocked to see the company that we're in.
Yeah.
Since when are we in that company? And why? And both the United States and the Europeans, in reflecting on the concerns which have brought them to the conclusion that our access to the United States and to European Union, members of the Schengen area, they both speak about poor governance. They both speak of the fraud. They both speak of citizenship by investment programs. But not all of the countries which have those programs are listed. It's only of some. So look, we have major concerns, and I think those concerns have to be addressed with dispatch by the current government to ensure that our visa-free access to Europe is maintained, that our access to America is maintained, and we need to really work hard to rebuild the trust and confidence. The United Workers' Party, I could tell you, is monitoring those developments very closely. we take no joy in those developments. We take no joy in the fact that the country is now in a category of countries which we previously were never associated to.
Yeah.
We take no joy in those developments. And all of you in the diaspora watching this could be affected.
Yeah.
Not being able to return to St. Lucia as easily as you currently do, not being able to have your family join you on holidays, and those of us who, this is a really, really, really sad moment, I think, and I'm hopeful that the current government is able to address those concerns of our European friends as well as our American friends, so that this circumstance, this really sad, those very concerning developments could be addressed.
Yeah, and need to be addressed. I believe the government need to take these matters very seriously. I believe so far we see the Prime Minister and his ministers just dragging along and playing along. Every time you ask them for information on the CIP or the visa situation, they tell you Alan Chastney. Right now, that is the norm with press conferences. The Prime Minister, you ask him very important questions, and he tells you Alan Chastney, Alan Chastney, Alan Chastney, and not answering the questions. I believe that we are in some very serious problems, and I believe we need strong leadership. And I just wish that you were part of the management of the country at this time. I believe that you do a tremendous work, especially dealing with these many major issues. Talking about major issues, we have a crisis that is before us that I strongly believe, and you can advise me, will affect the Caribbean, the region, and that is the war in Iraq between Israel. We saw the President of the United States calling a ceasefire. Then we have Iraq and Israel saying, well, we didn't agree to this, and Israel bombing within hours of the president's declaration. How is this going to impact small developing countries? And the question would be, St. Lucia. Is St. Lucia, under the leadership of Mr. Pear, equipped and ready to deal with these challenges? Also, we have the deportation of St. Lucians to the country. Are we doing what we have to do at this time to be able to manage? We might not be able to control, but at least we can manage some of these issues from our end.
The United Workers' Party is very closely monitoring those developments with great concern. Of course, we do believe that there could be implications for tourism arrivals.
Iran, sorry.
Again, this is not something which
Iran.
Well, if there's uncertainty, people prefer to stay close to home. I hope that's not the reality. There could be the price of oil. We've seen it go up. I think it's stabilized a bit today. But of course, the price of oil, the financial markets have been quite volatile. So the ability of the American market to access and benefit from opportunities to travel to St. Lucia may be, let's say, compromised. But again, we hope that's not the case. There are, however, things we can do, and there are certain risks that we should be mindful of. If we have a CIP program where the U.S., in this elevated security situation, the U.S. believes that there are persons who now own a whole St. Lucian citizenship, which may not be bona fide, or could be from some of those countries which it now has a conflictual relationship with, that could create some problems for us. So I think we need to be very, very mindful of our current program. Those people who may currently hold citizenship, I think we need to ensure that there's a high level of transparency in our program now, so that it is not seen that St. Lucia could be a proxy for those countries seeking to do harm to our friends in the United States. So, look, there are things we could do to assist, to ensure that St. Lucia is not seen as a threat or risk, or a proxy for entry to the United States for those countries which the U.S. may see as a security risk. So these are the things, or steps I think we could take domestically. On the economic side, I don't think that there's much that could be done, at least where tourism arrivals are concerned.
Yep.
But again, one of the things which we should also state, that even long before this conflict, tourism arrivals had been showing softness year on year for the entire first quarter. So there is quite a bit of work to be done. And as I said earlier, the United Workers' Party is monitoring very closely those developments with great concern. And we will be making some further, let's say, statements as the situation becomes more clear.
Yeah, and thank you so much for letting us know that the United Workers' Party, they are monitoring these developments, and this is what we need to hear. Mr. Fevrier, can we open the phone lines to, I realize some folks are trying to call us. We invite all. If you're a hack or not a hack, you can call, but be respectful and allow Mr. Fevrier to respond to your questions. He's going to be back. There's a glitch. He's going to be right back. So Shed a Live Tiger Friend, again, the number to call, it is 929-586-1821. As I said, Mr. Fevrier is going to be back on set. We just had a technical glitch that we will be rectifying, and I believe, let me just, yes, he is back. That was a technical glitch, but it was the first for the night, and we're happy that it's going to be the last one. But Mr. Fevrier, we're going to open the lines. It is 929-586-1821. Folks, let us call, interact with Mr. Fevrier. He's here at your service, of course. And so there was a call that I missed, so I'm going to pull it in right now to the system. I'm going to pull it in right now. So what, all right. Nine two nine 586-1821. That is the number that will get you live on the air. 929-586-1821. Our lines are open now. Again, we want to thank Mr. Fevrier for being here with us. While we wait for some calls, Mr. Fevrier, what's your relationship like with Mr. Alan Chastney? Do you see him as a great leader, a visionary leader, one who is readied, well, not most readied, of course, but one who is readied to take care of these many challenges on day one?
There are very few people who I know who have a bigger vision for St. Lucia than Mr. Alan Chastney. He really and truly believes in St. Lucia's potential, and in St. Lucian people's ability to achieve that. And sometimes his vision is big because he believes so deeply in what the promise of this country is and what our potential is as a people. Certainly he's a visionary leader, but not only visionary, I think he matches that with a sensitivity for the lived reality of St. Lucians. I have seen that by working with him on numerous occasions, both here and in previous missions.
Okay, so yeah,
abroad.
sorry about that, Mr. Fevrier. We have a call on the air. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, Mr. Fevrier, my guest.
Yes, good afternoon. Yes. Good night, Mr. Fevrier.
Good night. Good night.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear. He
Good
can
night,
hear.
sir.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to say, Brother Garfield, I'm a farmer, and specifically in cattle raising and whatnot. And I listened to an announcement by the Prime Minister a few weeks ago and the day before yesterday. The one 2 weeks ago, he said that he is going into agreement with Brazil, and he's going to bring down the taxes so that we can import more beef and meat and those different things from Brazil. And today, a few days ago, I heard him speaking about that since we're in problems with the Americans and the Europeans and everything that is happening with the visa restrictions, that he's taking new friends, and he spoke of Brazil again. And the point, what I'm trying to bring across is that I believe our Prime Minister is physically killing the farming industry, killing the poultry industry when it comes to beef and cattle industry by making it very, very difficult for locals to sell their meat. Because if it takes $10 for us to produce a pound of beef, and it's taking $1 for somebody to import it from Brazil, because remember, Brazil is a vast country, and Brazil is also part of the Brexit, which is opposed to American and the European thing, basically, because it's made up of countries like China, Russia, India, South Africa, and Brazil that makes up the Brexit. And with the situation of Caracas and Maduro and Philip J. Pierre. So my thing is, if it costing us $10 to raise to sell a pound of meat as locally grown, it will cost $1 to import it from Brazil, because Brazil has far more of meat and beef than us. And sometimes those things in storage for a month before it gets shipped to St. Lucia. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that this man is killing our industries by training people, and those friendships he's making is not benefiting us. Most of our families live in America, Canada, and England. Most of our tourism comes from there.
So,
we don't even
right. So, do you have a question? Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you because of time. Do you have?
Yeah.
I know you make a.
My question is how, because I heard Alan Shafi speak about it a lot. Is that how are we going to be protecting our local industry? And how can we pull back from all those agreements that is not benefiting our country, so especially with what Philip Giffey is doing there, and what are the steps we're going to take if we get a visa restriction? What will the United Workers Party do immediately coming into office to remove the visa restriction?
Okay, Mr. Fevrier. Okay.
Thank you very much. I must say, Pastor Garfield, you have some very well-informed callers.
Indeed.
Let me first say that any measure to reduce the cost of living is one which should be looked at. However, I think it should be noted that Brazil is an agriculture powerhouse globally. I think it's the third largest exporter globally of agricultural products. Then, of course, they are one of the most efficient producers of agriculture. So, look, the reality is there could be opportunities to benefit from the market, but you quite rightly put it, the consequences may be important to consider, at least where it relates to potentially displacing production from local farmers. So I think those things have to be looked at very, very carefully. Another thing which would have to be considered very carefully is transportation. I don't know that there are any direct transportation linkages between Brazil and St. Lucia. So whilst the market may be there and the market may be attractive, whether it would be easily transported given the lack of connectivity, maritime connectivity, that is something we should have to be considered. But whatever government decides, I think the first and primary point of reflection should be what would be the impact on the local industry. And that is where I'm fully aligned with you, that in any future decision, the implications for local farmers, particularly those in the livestock sector, should be taken into consideration. So I thank you for sharing your thoughts and your reflections. And of course, United Workers' Party will always ensure that whatever policy measures are instituted, the impact on the local sector would be the first priority for us.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Fevrier. Calling you on the air. Go ahead. Mr. Fevrier, my guest.
Good night, gentlemen. Good night to Garfield Sobers.
Hey, good night, sir. How are you? The great one.
Pastor, man, I tell you something, man. You got the best talk show, you know.
Wait a minute.
You
What
know,
are you doing?
you guys does.
But you just
you
told
guys
Tim
does a job.
today that he's the greatest talk show host in the world.
No, not me.
Okay.
You hear that from me?
I know. Go ahead.
No,
Just
I'm
playing.
real. I'm not a fraud.
Talk to Mr. Fevrier.
I'm real, man.
Yes.
I'm the real deal.
Talk to Mr. Fevrier.
When I say something, let me say this to you. This gentleman here, I don't got much to say to him. I have to say this to the great man, to Alan Michael Shasti. The last man that had a team like what the great man has today is the late, great JMGM Tom Adams. And in sport, Sir Clive Herbert Lloyd had a bunch of young men like that. And he brought them along. You know what I'm saying? The great man brought them and made them, man. Mr. Fevrier, no questions to you. All I can say to you, you got the right guy, the right man to lead you. And his deputy, Dr. Guy Joseph, I do not think there's a combination like those two gentlemen in the world today. I don't know if you'd agree with me on that.
Of course, I agree 100%. Mr. Fevrier
Dr.
is
Guy
agreeing.
Joseph and the great man Alan Makashaste, there's no leaders like that. Combination 1-2 in the world. And how could anybody? Let me get to the Mongoose gang. Let me get to the Mongoose gang. People complaining. Why are they complaining? Why are they complaining? What were they expecting from the Mongoose gang? What are they expecting up there? You go to Boston, you see Master look and you can make a man that prime minister? You're the idiot. You got to be an idiot. And solutions like garbage. They like nothing. The pastor, let me tell you something. God is watching over solution, you know. But God gonna punish us for real one of these days, you know. If the Mongoose gang was in charge when COVID hit St. Lucia, there will be no St. Lucia living today. These guys can get nothing right, nothing at all right. Nothing at all, nothing. They can't do nothing right. How could a man wake up in the morning and go in line and vote for these guys? I don't understand. I just don't understand. And every year they're complaining. What did the great man Sir Alan Makashaste do wrong? What did he do wrong? The man is thriving St. Lucia during a time when the whole world was closed down. You could beat that? That's shit up. Me and Bobby and none of them got touch him. None of them. We fought this great man and the team we have there now. Let me tell you something, man. I see them more lecture I see with share. More lecture I see, man. These guys, that group will get those that group there. This man here, I see about let me see. 8 or 9 prime ministers in that flower. I'm not a flower. I am not a flower. I'm not a labor. I can never be a labor.
And you're not a flower?
Man. I'm not a flower, though. I'm not a flower.
So
I'm for the great man.
So I'm going to give you less time then. You have 2 more minutes.
I am for the great man, sir. I am for the great man, Sir Alan Michael Shasti. Come on, Pastor. Don't laugh at me.
I know, boss.
And these guys, this man is real. These guys are real.
Yeah.
They'll about fool you. Be the same thing every day. That's what the Labour does. Full solutions with the same thing every day.
So you have
Yes,
any
for it.
you have any question for my guest?
No questions for him at all. No questions.
I like
No
that.
question. All I can say to him, you're on the right track.
Thank
You got the
you.
right man leading you.
Thank
I
you.
see nothing. The thing is this, we know what they're worried about.
I have a call
It's
on hold. Hurry.
If Solution's going to vote for them, because Solution loves too much garbage.
Thank you. Thank you,
That's
boss.
the problem. That's what I'm worried about, sir. That's what I'm worried about, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard, sir. This is Stephen. Have a good night, sir.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
That
Thank
was
you very
the
much.
all-heated
Mr. Bermuda.
Mr. Bermuda. All right. So for those of you on YouTube, you're telling me to post to it should be a WhatsApp number. It is a WhatsApp number. It is 929-586-1821. It's a WhatsApp number at 929-586-1821. We just missed a call. We're going to take a few more. I know Mr. Fevrier is a very busy man, and we're not going to keep him up all night. We need him to get his rest. There's a lot of work, folks, that needs to be done. So let's pull in one of our calls that was in the queue, and we're going to pull it in right now. Caribbean American News Media Platform caller, you're on the air. My guest, Mr. Fevrier.
Good evening, Brother Garfield, and good evening, Mr. Fevrier. I say our favorite Mr. Fevrier today.
And the real Steve.
And the what?
The real Steve.
That's correct.
Yeah. Talk to us.
I just want to commend Mr. Fevrier and, of course, welcome him to St. Lucia back home and welcome him to the UWP family. He is doing a wonderful job at speaking out to the people of St. Lucia, letting people know what is happening on the world stage, and answering questions that people may have had, looking questions that he's been answering really well as well, and giving people all the information that they needed. Tonight is one of the greatest shows, Brother Garfield, and I just want to commend you. And commend Mr. Fevrier. I'm not really here to ask any questions. I'm just here to say, Mr. Fevrier, you will be the next representative for Castries North. Thank you so much.
Mr. Fevrier, you want to comment?
Thank you very much.
Yes, you did so well that there is no questions. Wow. Even the supporters of the Labour Party, they're so clear on your position tonight that they are not even calling, and that's a good thing. So let's take two more calls, Mr. Fevrier, and we will call it a night. I know you will have the opportunity to come back on the platform. As I said to you, the platform is yours. Whenever you need it, just say the word and we'll make it available to you. I did inform the United Workers' Party and you, the supporters, that the platform was designed for this mission, and this mission we will accomplish by the grace of God. Amen. So again, the number is 929-586-1821. It's a WhatsApp number, and we're going to leave the lines open for the next 2 minutes. Mr. Fevrier, as we wait for maybe one or two more calls, is there anything else you would want to share with the viewers?
No, well, Pastor Garfield, I've already said quite a bit, but I want to assure St. Lucians that that the United Workers' Party, we really have a wonderful team. I'm so proud. I'm so honored to be a part of this team of really fantastic men and women. And of course, people speak about qualifications, and that is also important. But what has impressed me about the team is their heart. Their hearts are for the people of St. Lucia. They really deeply care for this country, and that is the most important qualification of them all. And in speaking with my colleagues, I want to assure St. Lucians, from the Prime Minister, the deputy leaders of the party, the new candidates, those who've served before. When we speak, they speak about the needs of St. Lucians, what we will do to improve your life. And of course, sometimes I get goosebumps and chills that, we are really on the verge of
Hold a
taking this
minute, caller.
country forward. We're on the verge of making those changes and creating opportunities for people. And for me, that's such a great honor to be here with this great party, which is inclusive. We're not, and I think this is a distinction which has to be made. We're not pushing anyone away. We're an open tent. We want to welcome you all of you, whatever your party you support, whether you're non-committed, whether you voted Labour, whether you voted blue, red, pink, hammer, whatever the symbol you supported. If you believe that the country is going in the wrong direction, if you believe that you want better medical care, you want more security, less crime, the farmers who have been completely forgotten, that you
Sorry to
want a
interrupt you, Mr.
government which
Fevrier.
will
I
help
do
you.
apologize.
It's the United Workers' Party. I would invite you to join us on this movement, join us on this mission.
All right. Sorry, Mr. Fevrier. We have a call on the line. Caller, you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform.
Hello, good night.
Good night, caller. Go ahead. Caller, you on the air. You're listening to your device.
Yes, good night. I'd like to make some comments.
Go ahead.
I don't understand how St. Lucians can fall for this corruption. Because the government's supposed to give the people that they're representing answers when you ask a prime minister questions concerning things that is concerning the country. The prime minister, I remember a reporter asked him a question, and he said that is not your business. Okay, so
Incredible.
that it's so incorrect for the prime minister, so wrong. To give that kind of answer to a reporter. And when they ask about the CIP passport money, they don't want to give no answer. Emma, when she considered she went on a secret date and she had a secret deal, she's supposed to disclose to the people of Soufrière, what she's representing, what the deal is all about. You cannot keep it away from the public and keep it all to yourself. Okay, it is so wrong. Okay, and the other thing again is that what I would like the former Prime Minister, Mr. Alan Chastanet, to do, if possible, that if they could promise people that like the tax on the top of that, when you put the top up on your phone, okay, the amount of money they stick out on you on that phone. The time you put a $5 top up on your phone, and you didn't because the 2.5% that Ampere put there. Okay, it is too much. Okay, because in Dominica they don't pay for tax on phone card on top up. If you put $5, you get your full $5. Okay, and if they could do that. Now the other thing again is that he was giving us a brand new state-of-the-art hospital. St. Lucians go and vote against that. He was giving us a brand new airport. Okay, they went and voted against that. They stopped the airport. They stopped the hospital. They stopped the home port for the cruise ship in Vieux-Fort, where Vieux-Fortian would get work. And there was income that was coming for the country. They go ahead and give GPH the port of Castries and port of Soufrière. To tell me that when you're making all the revenue coming from this port, whether the cargo, the cruise ship, you understand?
Yes.
When you tell me that you give GPH the port for 40 years, how much money for the 40 years will GPH make on St. Lucian? And how much for the 40 years? So you tell me that for the 40 years, you will be only making $40 million.
Yep.
You understand?
Yep. I understand
That
your
is
statement.
nonsense.
Yep. Any question you have for Mr.
Yeah,
Fevrier?
Mr. Fevrier. Yes, I would want to wish you. I wish you all the best. Okay, and tell the people exactly what you're going to do for them, how you're going to support them, how you're going to run the people. You know how you're going to support the people, what you're going to do for them. Okay, and I would like for you to actually come out and tell all St. Lucian, okay, because they have been bribed, they have been lied to, they have been drinking, they have been drinking moon tablets, okay, because they see what is going on, but yet still they do not want to speak.
Thank you.
They do not want to speak at all.
Thank you, caller.
And it is so wrong. It is so wrong. Because if it was Alan Shassi that was doing what Pierre doing there, all hell would have break loose. Because they have lied to St. Lucians, they have made St. Lucians believe like Alan Shassi is the worst person to be a prime minister.
2 seconds, caller.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to thank you so much, and I want to wish you all the best. You will kick Jack the Snake out. Not Kinger, but Jack the Snake out.
All right. Thank you so much, caller.
Okay? You're welcome.
Thank you. So, Fevrier, I have one question for you I know if you want to comment on the gentleman, you can, but we have one question before you leave us. Can I read the question?
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Okay. The question is the UWP committed to investigating the many instances of fraud that has been identified with a view to prosecuting those found guilty?
Well, I think I answered that question in advance. I said there cannot be one rule for the average person in St. Lucia who, if they fall afoul of the law, they're treated in one way, and another category of St. Lucians could
Hold a
act
minute,
with
caller.
absolute impunity. That cannot be right.
Right. All right.
It cannot be right. And of course, I think every St. Lucian would agree that the same standard that the poor, the disadvantaged, the powerless is held by before the courts, the same should apply for those people entrusted with the governance of this country. I think you'd agree, Pastor Garfield.
Oh, 100%. And I want to be on the investigative team, I'm telling you. Caller, you're on the air. Caribbean American News Media.
Good evening, Garfield. Good evening, Stephen.
I got the voice. He got the voice too. Greetings to you.
I know you. I can see him smiling.
I know.
Because he's hearing his Andrew Joy's voice. I am not going to ask your question because I'm constantly in your company. What I want to say to you is that I am proud that I have walked the road that you have walked in your career. I'm older, so I went ahead of you in that same field. However, what I want to say to you is that I am so proud, not only of you, but all of the candidates. They are not, while they are still young, they are mature, experienced, independent candidates that have given St. Lucia a choice to show St. Lucia that there is future, okay, that there is continuity, that there is hope. They can see a plan for the governance of St. Lucia. It is undeniable that so many egregious things have happened in the past 4 years in this country by a government that, while in opposition, was so busy making noise, demonstrating, campaigning, not giving the government a chance to govern, even though we were dealing with COVID. And now they won on a whole lot of scratching mirrors, bluff, lies, and they cannot deliver to the people. There are too many things have happened. And while people say St. Lucians are quiet, I believe that since the majority of St. Lucians did not vote in the last election, I think that they were confused by all the drama. But now that they have had 4 years to watch the performance of a government who have literally sold our country out, have degraded this country, brought it down, mismanaged its funds, I think they are just waiting for the bell to ring. And even if we had not had a group of people like you coming on board, I don't think St. Lucians would have put the SLP back in governance because of the things that they have committed in the past 4 years. However, with such an impressive team of people, candidates, I know each of you personally. I'm so proud of you. I am exceedingly proud of Alan Chastney, that as a leader with vision and his performance, that he can attract you kind of people not to go to the SLP, but decide to be part of the United Workers' Party. I say, St. Lucia, we are on a good trajectory. We have to put St. Lucia first. Not party, not people, but our country, the development of our country, the reputation of our country on the international stage. And I look forward to you, Stephen, and the other reps to keep to your promise, because I hold you all to it, to keep to your promise and make St. Lucia a country to be counted. Small but powerful. David was small, but he did a powerful thing by bringing down the giant. You guys, do not allow the SLP to make you tremble for one moment, because there is no comparison. You people will save St. Lucia and right the wrong. I am very proud of you. This is just, as you know, I encourage you every day. Just hold on, stay strong, be the authentic man that you are. You won't change. And remember the people when you will be in office. God bless you all. And thank you, Garfield, for bringing him on. Good night, my people. Hold strong. Vote United Workers' Party.
Thank you, Dr. Fletcher. Mr. Fevrier, I want to do this promotion quickly before we leave. It is from your branch. It is the Castries North Fundraising Barbecue. That is Friday, the 27th of June, 2025. And it will be at the Castries North Constituency office in Summersdale. And it starts at 5 p.m. onward. So please, you're going to be meeting your candidate, Mr. Stephen Fevrier, and members and supporters of the United Workers' Party. So all please support this barbecue fundraiser. It is Friday the 27th of June 2025 at the Summersdale Constituency Office of Castries North. There you meet Mr. Fevrier, your candidate. So you can come from Denry, Soufrière, Vieux-Fort, come down and show him your love. We can call in the love on the telephone, on the programs, but we got to show up and show the love in person, all right? On the ground, folks. Yes, Mr. Fevrier, closing remarks, and we're out.
Thank you, Pastor Garfield. I just want to remind St. Lucians that we are indeed the country which produced Julian Alfred, Darren Zami, 2 Nobel Prize winners. We're a great country, but we have a failing government. We can achieve so much more if we have the right people who have the heart for the country, the development of the country, and the people of this country. If you have a heart for the people of this country, you would use the resources available to you in their interest, not in the interest of enriching of the enrichment of a few. I hear the cry of the people of Castries North. I speak with them every day. I see the challenges they face, and I want to remind you that I will fight for you. I'm going to continue to walk through every nook and cranny, every corner of the constituency. I ask you also to continue to pray for me. I thank you for your encouragement. I thank you for your support. I look forward to being your representative if you so choose. And I believe that is what you have been saying to me very loudly and decisively. I want to again encourage all St. Lucians to support the United Workers' Party, support your candidate. And as Dr. Fletcher previously said, we have an outstanding slate of candidates. It's not only me, there are many, every candidate which has been selected under the leadership of Alan Chasney is outstanding professionally, but outstanding in their commitment to this country. So look, change is coming to St. Lucia. Continue to support our party, support your candidate, and let us continue marching towards victory together. Pastor Garfield, I thank you, and I thank all your viewers and listeners.
And thank you so much, Mr. Stephen Fevrier, endorsed candidate for the United Workers' Party, Castries North. Thank you so much for being here with us. I really enjoy the session with you, and I look forward to having you again. We need to talk more about Castries North and the Code Yellow mission to unseat Mr. Stephenson King of the St. Lucia Labour Party under the Code of Blue. So thank you so much again. May God bless you. I will keep you in prayer. Matter of fact, I will put you on my prayer list, and we continue to pray for your protection, your safety, and wisdom, knowledge, and that God will just open the floodgates of blessings on you and the entire family and your support staff. So blessings to you, Mr. Fevrier, and thank you so much for being part of this experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Garfield.
You're welcome. And to our viewers, those of you who stayed with us all night, I know, our YouTube channel outshined the Facebook channel tonight. We had a record-breaking views over there that surpassed our Facebook channel. So thank you so much for your support, and we continue to support Mr. Fevrier, the Honorable Alan Chasney, and his team, the mission to rescue the country of St. Lucia. So God bless you, folks. Have a beautiful night. May you sleep well. May angels encamp around you and your family as you sleep. We look forward to seeing you again.